What is a fallacy? Can you tell me what a fallacy is? What's up, Scott? Do you want to call in? You wanted to speak earlier. Or we'll go to, what's up, man?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Nothing. So you invited me on here. You said you wanted to debate.
Yeah, you took issue with me being basically a debater, something that I've been doing for a really long time, and you said that you felt like it wasn't the best way to turn the tide or the needle within culture. What I was disagreeing with you with more specifically was that if you yourself admit that you're a quote shitty Catholic and not in a position to make these kinds of spiritual judgments, like how are you in a position to say that debating is bad?
Because spiritual judgments are not the same as trying to move the needle on a cultural level. And I don't know why you would think that those are two things that are directly related insofar as you cannot have one without the other.
Well, but what I'm saying is, like, if you're going to make assessments of what's virtuous and not virtuous and what works and doesn't work, like if you're a shitty Catholic, quote, your terms, not mine, how would that put you in a position to make this kind of judgment call about whether debating is profitable or not?
Because it's got nothing to do with religion. We saw for the last 60, maybe even 70 or 80 years, hell, maybe even for a little bit longer than that, the gears of society have turned and we have gone in a direction of atheism, secularism at best, and nihilism at worst.
You don't think that has to do with religion?
I think it has to do more with the way that cultures shift and the way that people will operate to try and turn those cultures into the direction that they're going in.
How does a person combat the massive influence of Muslim influencers and debaters and TikTokers, for example, without debating them?
What's that got to do with you arguing about fucking Catholicism, though? Because like, don't get me wrong, you wanna debate Muslims, fucking whatever, do your thing, but like, you were literally here on Easter trying to start slap fights with people over what? Fucking because you disagree with them about the correct way to venerate Christ or the correct church doctrine or dogma or whatever.
Well, first of all,
the fact of the matter is people see stuff like that and they're like, wow, these guys fucking suck. I don't want to be around them.
No, you may think that. You might think that. You might think that.
That's why the world has changed in the way that it has.
No, you're not even in. You're not in a position to make these assessments.
I'm in whatever position I feel like being in.
No, you're not.
Debates are not.
You're not in a competent position. And
debates are a joke. Like, they're not culturally relevant. Nobody remembers a debate fucking a week or two later.
Okay, so the thousands of, so when I go to
famous debate,
why are you interrupting me?
Jordan Peterson debate.
When I go to
one, and people laugh about Jordan Peterson.
When I go to churches and I meet thousands of people that have converted in the last 5 or 6 years from debates, how does that tell me that debates don't matter and are useless?
I think you're making shit up. If I'm being honest, you met thousands of people. You're touring the country, going to church after church, and every one of them's like, Dyer, dude, I saw that debate with that.
You realize that
and I was like,
why are you melting down when there's literally, we just had 2,000 people. We just had 2,000 people in the live chat here. I've done live debates. I've done live debates and live events from coast to coast for the last 5 years, and yeah, I've met thousands of people. You can watch a lot of these debates. I mentioned to you in the DMs the Muslim debate that was just seen by over 4 million people. So you're saying that I'm just making all this up?
4 million converts, right?
I didn't. Right, did I say converts? I said it was watched by 4 million people, and I met thousands of converts.
Yeah, I mean, fucking, when I turn on the TV, I see Real Housewives of fucking Alaska on. Technically, I watched it for 2 seconds, but it doesn't mean it actually had an effect on me. And that's the point that I'm trying to make.
So you think that? At the end of the day, so you think I'm lying about? I'm lying about this.
Culture is what matters. Culture is what matters, and if you're not creating something,
who are the two? How is there two? There's like there was just. What does that even mean? Culture is what matters. Religion is part of culture. So does it? What are you even talking about?
And if religion is not going to tap into the culture in a way that is going to be fruitful, then you're not going to have nearly as many converts as you need to be able to counteract.
Well, you just accused me of lying when I can show you the fruits of the people that are in these churches. Have you ever been to an Orthodox church?
No, I really don't feel like I need to go to one, truthfully.
Okay, but that would prove to you that I'm not lying, because you can go and meet. We just had 200 people in just the UK in one church converted a few days ago.
Sure, 200 people in a country of how many people?
No, in one parish. That's one example parish.
Okay, 200 people.
Okay. Now, do you want to go?
That's a bad thing.
Do you want to go look? No, you're saying that I'm lying about it. Do you want to go look up how many people at Father Josiah Trenum's parish converted recently?
I don't think it really matters. I got to be.
Well, hold on. It doesn't matter, but
the
it.
Bottom line is.
No, hold on. You said it doesn't matter.
You're not culturally relevant in the way that you think you are.
Okay, but it.
And that's the point that I'm making.
So you're just trying to go after me personally to make slights at me when everything that I'm telling you disproves your accusation that I'm lying. You said I'm lying about thousands of converts. I'm giving you the things that would disprove that, and you're saying I don't care.
I mean, you're the one who's going after people based off of things like, say, their Catholicism and things like that. You know, you go.
So you're butthurt
like
because I'm going after Catholics.
You go after someone like Razorfist, who's well known for being verbose and hyperbolic and
all sorts
of other crazy things. And when he does when Razorfist is Razorfist, you're like, whoa, where the hell did that come from? No, that's stupid, bro. Fucking at the end of the day,
hold on.
The culture.
That's not true.
The culture has shifted since the 50s, or even before that. The culture has shifted in a way that is completely and totally unhealthy for everybody.
Why should we listen to your? Why are we supposed to listen to you as some cultural? Bro, you don't have any audience. You don't have any audience. Why are we supposed to believe you on cultural analysis? What is your What's your qualification for cultural analysis?
Jesus didn't have an audience the size of yours.
So what is your qualification for cultural analysis?
Fucking looking at the last 70 days,
looking at the last,
seeing the way the country has shifted.
Look, dude, this is the dumbest. This is the dumbest bunch of nonsense. You accuse me of being a liar. Listen, you don't care about the counter evidence. You don't care. You don't care about the counter evidence. No, you're the one that's cussing me out, man. I'm just laughing at the nonsense that you're saying.
No, it kind of sounds like you're a little upset there. I gotta be honest with you.
Because what you're saying is ridiculous. The whole chat's laughing at you. You got 2,000 people laughing at you, which, by the way, is that all fake? That's made up?
If they're not made up, they're fucking stupid.
Oh, the whole audience is stupid. Is all the Orthodox people are stupid?
The ones watching right now, I guess, yeah.
So the actual churches that would refute your claim that I lie about all this, you don't care about that.
You see what's happening right now, right? I'm trying to keep the conversation on what we DM'd about, talking about. You
call me a liar.
You're sitting here.
You called me a liar, dude.
Trying to slowly shift into a conversation that you feel like you can win.
You called me a liar, did you not?
The fact of the matter is, the boomers don't look back at church when they were young. They look back at.
What are you even talking about? This is like an 80 IQ conversation. The boomers don't look at what? Dude, dude, 2,000 people are laughing at you, bro.
That's what they look back at. They don't. I don't give a fuck what they think. Fuck them. Fuck all 2,000 of you.
And so we're supposed to listen to you about. So you want to give spiritual advice, and we're supposed to listen to you. You're literally just telling the entire chat to F off.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself, chat.
Okay, so this is Scott Sullivan, the MMA guy, who has absolutely no qualification in any subject that he's talking about.
Oh, do I need to go? Do I need to go to college? Do I need to get a PhD?
Do you read at all?
Talk about what everybody has known.
You want to talk about culture, and you have no qualifications in the subject matter. So yes, correct.
What qualifications would make you happy, Jay?
Any at all?
What school do I need to go to?
Can you give me any example of a single book on culture that you've read?
Julius Evola's Revolt Against the Modern World, Ride the Tiger, as well.
Okay, so you're a perennialist. You're a perennialist.
More of a traditionalist.
Okay. Do you like Julius Evola's discussions of magical butt sex?
Yeah, sure.
Is that good for culture?
No, but I think Ride the Tiger is good for culture.
Okay, and what are we supposed to go to? Some sort of a fascist, magical like leader that's a magician.
Actually, Evola rejected the fascist party.
If you read his Metaphysics of Sexuality, he argues that we should have magical butt sex. So do you agree with that or not?
Well, I've never read that book. Bottom line is that the culture is shifting in a direction that is not healthy for any of us. And you can sit here and have your internet slap fights, but what are you doing to actually move the needle back into a healthy place?
Well, how about debating all? How about opposing?
You haven't created.
How about opposing?
That is capturing.
How about opposing?
You haven't done. You haven't done anything.
But when I give you the counter examples,
the world around you in a material.
When I give you the examples, all right, you're done.
Fantastic thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Don't get me wrong. Okay, but. At the end of the day, when
hey, bro, I'm blocking you. If you, I'm blocking you. We're done, dude. Nobody,
war veterans about how
nobody cares about your low tier nonsense.
You know what's wrong with the world today is that they stopped.
Dude, you're not even competent to discuss any of this.
Back in my
what you're saying doesn't even make sense.
That's all you're doing. That's literally all you do, man.
All I do is back in my day. What does that even mean?
Sit here and try and make the conversation into one that you feel like you can win. You can purposefully be.
You mean when you accuse me of lying?
Understand the points that I'm making. You can do all of that. That's
when you accuse me of lying and then I show you. All right, we're done. You're done.
You're losing.
That was the dumbest shit I've heard in ages. That was the stupidest bunch of nonsense. He read one Evola book, so there we go. Yeah, roid rage, exactly. So you'll notice what these people do is like they'll say something like, "You're lying. It's all made up. There's not people who've converted." And then when I start to give the examples, he says, "I don't give a shit." Wow, Charlie.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just real quick. I replied to the space on X. First passage from 66, page 66 of Eros.
Oh, Evola?
One of the most damning, I think, where he's like, I mean, he's a 1920s, like, former Catholic in Italy, so I don't think he's as crazy as Crowley, but this one he's like, is PDF bad? Who can say? And then I also posted...
there we go. Here's Charles's... Chapter 2 of Eros. Okay, good. This is perfect. Let's see. We've already mentioned that in his theory of Eros, Plato's often referred to Skittles' love, but also love for epheboi and male. This one, is this it?
Yeah, that's the one from the Eros book, and then there's another reply I have with that occult traditions where he's encouraging the magic.
There is no real problem if the accidental starting point is a being of the same Skittles. Thank you, Charles. You came to the rescue. I told you. It's here. I told you. It took me a damn 2 hours, and well, it took Charles. Actually, I didn't do it. Charles did it. But it took this long to find this stupid ass quote. I told you that it said this. Did I not say this, guys? I wish I'd remembered that he was talking about Plato. I didn't remember that. So he says, again, there is no real problem if the accidental starting point is a being of the same sex. The word Uranism, which some use to mean Skittles, springs from Plato's distinction between Aphrodite Urania and Aphrodite Pandemia. Aphrodite Urania is the goddess of noble love, which is not carnal and unconcerned with procreation, as is the love which has as a woman as an object. May be that PDF had in the beginning, to a certain degree, a noble character when it was honored by ancient writers and personages. But it is, there you go,